Well, welcome back to another rankings video for the All Takes No Whiffs podcast. I'm Alex and that's Christian. And for this video, we are moving on to center field for our top 10 players at each position. And man, am I excited to get into this one.
Yeah, this one's solid. We got some greatness on this list involved, and might be a little obvious, but just stay tuned. You might be surprised.
I
Might
don't
not.
think you will be.
But still, it's a dope list overall, and I'm just glad that uh yeah, we got to a stacked position like this, even though we've covered a couple other stacked positions. But to get things started though, at number 10, I've got Dylan Carlson of the St. Louis Cardinals. Uh Dylan Carlson's a beast in my opinion. Honestly, I kind of underrated him with the glove. Not that I thought I was critical of his glove. I just never put much mind to it. I just always put emphasis on the fact that I thought he was a really good switch hitter. But nah, the glove too. That can't go unnoticed. And I think he's a really solid piece for the Cardinals.
Oh yeah, super solid piece. I'll get to him in a minute. But at number 10 for me, I have Chas McCormick, the center fielder for the Houston Astros. This dude's really not known for the bat, but he kind of came around in the World Series this past year in the postseason with it. But this dude is super solid at defense, one of the best defensive center fielders in all of baseball, and I definitely think he deserves to be on this list.
Yeah, without a doubt. And to be honest, I actually have him at number 9. I know, like you said, it's nothing crazy with the bat, but he stepped up in the playoffs and the World Series too. And honestly, him being a key piece in that run, I had to put him at 9 right there. I feel like he's going to be a solid piece for them for the next few years, to be honest with you, until Logan Cerny gets called up, though.
Hey, I can't wait for that because it's gonna happen sometime soon, hopefully. But that's someone we grew up with and played with, and can't wait for him to get up there. But number 9 for me, I've got Christian at number 10. I have Dylan Carlson, the center fielder for the St. Louis Cardinals. This guy's an elite defensive center fielder. It doesn't really matter where he's playing in the outfield. It's elite. The bat, I hope it comes around at some point. It hasn't been there. He's got a pretty low average throughout his career. He's got a 2.47 so far. I mean, that's not bad, but last year he batted 236. I would really like to see him get that up. But like I'm saying, the glove is there. The dude had 2 errors and 232 chances last year and had 8 outfield assists. That's a lot. I think 8 was tied for like 6th or 7th. I think there were 5 people who had like 9 or something. Dude is just elite in the outfield.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is, Dylan Carlson's still pretty young too. I can't wait to see what he blossoms into. I think he's going to be a really good player in this league. But for my number 8 center fielder in baseball, I've got Cedric Mullins of the Baltimore Orioles. First and foremost, I love seeing that he's part of this team that's starting to make a turnaround. Baltimore Orioles, their future is looking bright, and he's honestly the veteran in that position. Uh, he's not really old, but he had a really successful 2021 season. 2022 wasn't as good, but I think still solid overall. And I'm a big fan of Cedric. I like the way he plays. I like that he brings multiple facets to the game, and he got some sneaky power.
Yeah, and I have Cedric at 8 too. He does have some sneaky power, but the power dipped this past year. He did have a 30-30 year in 2021, and this past year he only hit 16 home runs. Still had over 30 stolen bases though. One thing I really like about him, he's had 69 stolen bases over the past 2 years, which is really nice. But
Nice.
to move on from that, another thing I really like about Cedric Mullins is his defense. He's really good at defense. He doesn't have the strongest arm, but he is super accurate, and he actually had 9 outfield assists last year. So just because you don't have a strong arm doesn't mean you can't throw people out.
For sure. And to give him some credit, though, about the arm, I do think he kind of improved the strength a little bit
Yeah.
compared to 2021 to 2022. So credit to him for that. And honestly, Cedric could be higher up on this list depending on the seasons he's having. I'm looking forward to his 2023 for sure. And just the fact that he's going to have a solid team around him, in my opinion. Don't sleep on Baltimore. Do not sleep on Baltimore. But
Mm-mm.
as for my number 7 center fielder in baseball, I've got Luis Robert of the Chicago White Sox. Bit of an injury riddled season last year, but kind of injury riddled throughout his whole tenure. But when he's on the field, he is a beast. He is really a beast. He would be higher on this list if he was a little more healthy consistently. What he brings to the table, though, an elite glove with elite speed, elite arm, to be honest with you, And with the bat, I really like his bat. Yeah, it brings like a good amount of pop to the table, and I like his swing a lot too. I'm a fan of Luis Robert, and he's still not really he's I would say more on the younger side. And I'm just excited to see if he can get on the field consistently because he could be a major piece for the White Sox. Honestly, he's got potential to be their best player.
Yeah, I mean, this dude, he does have a potential to be their best player, especially since Jose Abreu is not there anymore. He can take over that, but I'll get into Luis Robert here in a minute. But at number 7, I have Brian Reynolds of the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is a huge trade commodity right now. A lot of teams want this guy. Pittsburgh has been rebuilding. They got lot of solid young guys though, and this is just one guy who I really have liked. He's a switch hitter, plays really good defense, is pretty fast. I will say though, last year really struggled at the gate, but he picked it up at the end of the year and really salvaged his entire season. But Brian Reynolds, this is honestly one of my favorite players in all of baseball. I just love what this guy does on the field.
Oh yeah. And speaking of the trade talks with him, uh, big reason he's really wanting a trade at this point is because of my number 6 center fielder in baseball, Brandon Nimmo of the New York Mets. This guy set the market on fire for center fielders, to be honest. And Brian Reynolds saw that, and he was like, I need what I'm worth." But speaking on Brandon Nimmo, yeah, I thought he was a little overpaid off that contract, but he's a really solid ball player for sure. What he brings to the table is a solid glove and a solid bat, not crazy power, but putting the bat on the ball and getting on base. I think he's really solid at that, and going to be an important piece for the Mets if they really want to be in the mix this year.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be a real good piece for them. I'll get into him in a second, but at number 6, I have you at 7. I have Luis Robert of the Chicago White Sox. This is another guy who's one of my favorite players in the entire league, to be honest. I was been really high on this guy. I've known about him for a long time, been following him throughout the minor leagues, and I just want to see him be healthy. And Christian alluded to this earlier. Dude just can't stay healthy. He's only been in the big leagues for 3 years. And he's played I think it's a total of around 200 games. I know the past 2 seasons he's played 98 and like 65. So we do have kind of a full season sample size out of him. But I mean, I really would like to see him put it all together. And this dude is pretty much a 5 tool player. I would just say the weakest tool he has is power, but I think he'll grow into that at some point.
Yeah, he flashes it. That's the thing. It's not there all the time, but when he shows it, he hits bombs, and the ball just jumps off of his bat. So if he could really consistently get that power behind him, he's going to be a power guy. Like he's going to be known for that. And I'm excited to see him on the field. God willing, like that he stays healthy consistently. But for my number 5 center fielder in baseball, I've actually got Brian Reynolds, who you had at 7. I'm a big fan of Brian Reynolds, to be honest. I know he was in some trade talks towards the Yankees, and I was really hoping for that. I'm just gonna say it's not too late, unless it is. But
Yeah, y'all,
regardless,
y'all traded for a center fielder already.
exactly. But Brian Reynolds is a beast. Brings it from both sides of the plate. I personally think he's a better left-handed hitter than right-handed hitter. Just brings more pop to the table on that side, and solid glove too. Honestly, it's not really like a standout glove, but what he brings to the table overall, the versatility, hitting from both sides, and being a really good hitter. Uh, Pittsburgh needs to do him justice and trade him to a good team, in my opinion, because they don't want to pay him. And if Brandon Nimmo is making that much money, I think Brian Reynolds deserves that much money as well.
Yeah, I definitely think that. And Brandon Nimmo is actually who I have at number 5. It's a really, really solid ball player. I have said at times I have my opinions on him, especially since he's that guy who sprints to first base after a walk or sprints to the dugout after a strikeout. He's just playing the game the right way, and that's good for little kids. But that's just something that kind of, I mean, you're a Major League Baseball player. I mean, you don't need to be doing that, but you are setting a good example. But other than that, very solid ball player all around. Does everything right. Has speed. Doesn't have the most power. His defense is good. And gets on base a lot. Dude doesn't strike out a lot. Walks a lot. And he's the table setter for that team. He's the leadoff guy, and he's gonna be the one to get them going.
Oh yeah, Brandon Nimmo. I think he's gonna have a really good 2023 season. But as for my number 4 center fielder in baseball, I got your guy Michael Harris II. Michael Harris is a beast. And to be honest, could be a little higher on my list, though, just a little higher. It's just, even though he won Rookie of the Year last year, only one season. I would just like to see a little bit more before I could put him in that upper echelon of center fielders. But what he brings to the table, what he showed in 2022, this is going to be a long time piece for the Braves. Uh, you guys locked him up, which was a good move, and I just really like it. He's got real five tool potential written all over him. That's my favorite thing about Michael Harris, and he's got a freaking cannon, an absolute cannon. And he throws from the left side, so might be a little biased. But yeah, number 4 for sure.
It was a good time for Freddie to leave and for me to have a new favorite Brave, to be honest, because I absolutely love Michael Harris, honestly. I'll get into him in a second, though. I already want to talk about him, but at number 4 for me, I have Byron Buxton, Minnesota Twins center fielder. This guy could be higher. I'm not gonna say he could be at number 1 because there's no one who can be at number 1, but who is at number 1 right now.
Exactly.
The only other person I think who is not playing that position anymore, but was last year. But I digress on that a little bit. But Byron Buxton, I just want to see this dude stay healthy. I mean, there's really not too much to say about him. Everyone knows who Byron Buxton is. This is one of the top highly touted prospects coming up. Um, 5 tools, can play defense, has a strong arm, very fast, and can hit for power and contact. And I wouldn't say contact because the contact hasn't really been there. But this is just someone I just want to see stay healthy. Want to see him play a full season because at the beginning of last year, I mean, he was a starter in the All-Star game. He played 92 games last year, and most of those came in the first half of the season. So I just want to see this guy for a full season because he's a huge piece for this Minnesota Twins team who could be pretty dangerous if the whole team can stay healthy.
Mm. Yeah, Byron Buxton, man. I'm gonna be honest. When I was saying Michael Harris could be a little higher on this list, it was I was debating putting him over Buxton, but I think that me putting Buxton at 3, regardless of the health issues, I think that just speaks for how much talent he has. Byron Buxton is filled with talent, and he is my number 3 center fielder. It's just like Alex said, I would love to see him healthy. And my thing is, yeah, the contact might not be his strong point in the 5 tools, but when he does make contact, I feel like it's more effective contact than like the average amount of contact somebody makes. So I think that kind of makes up and goes a little unnoticed when looking at his average because yeah, two in the 230s, it's not really pretty on paper, but I when you see what those hits are that make up that 230 something average, I think it's solid for sure. And Buxton, I'm a big fan of Buxton overall. I just really love the way he plays the game. He goes all out, which might kind of be to his own detriment in a sense because he's always getting injured in hustle plays, like when it comes to diving for a ball or stealing a base. He's just going all out, and we happen to see that a lot, unfortunately. But if he's healthy for 2023, he could be top 2.
Oh yeah, I definitely can see him moving up to that number 2 spot. Don't see him moving up to number 1.
Mm-mm.
But for number 3, I have Michael Harris II, my center fielder for the Atlanta Braves. Absolutely love this guy. Christian said everything pretty much spot on earlier. I only have him over Buxton because Buxton can't stay healthy, and we saw what Michael Harris is capable of. He can hit 300, he can hit 20 homers, he can steal 20 bases. Give him a full season, I can see 30 stolen bases, 25 homers, and over 300 average. This dude is going to be elite, and he's going to be around, and he's going to be a problem for a long time. So that's why I have him at number 3, even though he's only had one season in the big leagues. But there's another guy on this list who's only had one season too in the bigs.
Oh yeah, for sure. And just gonna get right into him. Number 2, I've got Julio Rodriguez of the Seattle Mariners. This guy took the league by storm. I remember last year for like a good like the first month, I thought my boy Jeremy Pena was gonna win Rookie of the Year,
Nah.
and then Julio just hit the ground running, and it was like the closest person to him in second place was like a good mile. Julio last year broke the scene as a 19-year-old, and uh, before I get into his season overall, which was a great season, pretty sure he finished with a 284 average
Yep.
for a rookie season. Fire. But his performance in the home run derby though really put that man on the map. Uh, yeah, I'm a big fan of Julio, and I'm looking forward to what he's doing in his age 20 season, which is kind of insane to think about because we've got him at number 2. He's 20 years old. But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to this man's career overall.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Julio Rodriguez and what he's capable of showing all of us. I have my number two too, and I don't really know what too much more to say about him. Christian pretty much said everything. He's a five-tool player. I would say defense is probably his weakest point, but he makes up for it with his speed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something that all of these center fielders really have is speed. And there's really not too much more to get into Julio, but I'm really, really excited to get into our number one player.
Oh yeah, for sure. And real quick about Julio, about the defense thing. I think with age and experience, I think he's going to get a little better. Yeah, I have noticed that when it comes to tracking fly balls, sometimes he's a little wild, but he's young. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, but that's not to say that he's definitely going to fix that. But five tool potential, filling out that defense, I think that's definitely something in the future. But before we get into the most obvious number one in the history of number ones, we're gonna drop a couple of our honorable mentions. Mine are Trent Grisham of the San Diego Padres, and I've got Mike Yastrzemski of the San Francisco Giants. Both of those guys solid ball players in my opinion, and can maybe crack this list.
Oh yeah, my honorable mentions are Kevin Kiermaier and Jazz Chisholm. Jazz is moving from second base to center field this year, so I mean Jazz is a really good player. So I just had to give him an honorable mention, but he does not deserve to be on the top 10 list because he has not played center field yet. So I don't know why people have him on their list, but honorable mention is fine. And Kevin Kiermaier is just an elite defensive center fielder.
Yeah,
That's
well,
all. That's all he really brings to the table, though.
exactly. Yeah, with Jazz, we know what he brings to the table with the bat, and honestly, good speed as well. But we just got to wait and see how that translates to center field because center field and second base, very different positions. But
And we
I'm
saw Trey Turner kind of struggle at that.
exactly, and but we got to wait and see. Hopefully, Jazz translates well to center field. I'm looking forward to that. But for number one, uh, obviously, it's
Cody Bellinger.
Cody Bellinger of the Chicago Cubs. Just kidding. The greatest player of this generation, Mike Trout, is at number one.
Maybe the greatest
Health,
player of all time.
yeah, definitely that case could be made for sure because what Mike Trout has already done at this point in his career is insane. And the unfortunate thing about Trout is that the injury conversation is starting to creep in a little more and more. But still, what he brings to the table, well, the games that he is on the field for, insanity. How many games was it, Alex? Was it 114 or 119 games? And he hit
114
114 games and he hits a 40 home run season. Like,
and almost has 30 doubles.
yeah. And like he's damn near 50 games short of a full season putting up those type of numbers. Like, come on.
This dude's unreal.
He's Mike Trout. I don't even want to say he's unreal because it's like that should be common knowledge to a baseball fan at this point. Mike Trout is just Mike Trout. He's a generational player. Like this man has been a lock for the Hall of Fame since like probably like 2017 in my eyes.
Oh, dude, 2015, bro.
Yeah,
No, not that early. Not that early.
yeah. That's really a small sample size, but it's like it was written all over him. Like at 2015, you could say he's a lock just off the eye test because Mike Trout, man. What do we have to say? This guy was kind of I don't want to say the start of like five tool players, but when he came up, this was like the peak of a five tool player, in my opinion. Kind of has taken a step back in a couple of tools, but really a big step forward in other tools. The way that his bat has matured in this league, obviously he had an electric bat beforehand, but his plate discipline and the power once it set in. Mike Trout, I can't say too much more about Mike Trout because it's known.
I just honestly can't believe 25 other teams passed up on him in the draft before the Angels got him at 26, and that well, I don't even remember what draft it was, but that blows my mind to hear or to even know that 25 teams passed up on him. But I mean, you never know that this guy's going to turn out to be the greatest player of all time. But I mean, Mike Trout, he's number one for both of us. I mean, this dude, like Christian said, he had 40 homers in 114 games last year. You don't really see that too often. I'm pretty sure Tatis did that a couple years ago too, or had like 38 or something. But Mike Trout, is elite at everything he does, to be honest. Like Christian said, he has regressed at some things. His defense has regressed a little bit, but I will say his arm has gotten a lot better from what
Oh
it
yeah.
was in his rookie year. His rookie year, you did not you were running all over Mike Trout, to be honest, in the outfield. But now it's not this case. This dude's just the prototypical ball player. Every team freaking wants him. He's the highest paid baseball player in the history of baseball right now. I mean, I really don't know what too much more to say about Mike Trout. This is just one of the greatest baseball players that I have ever witnessed, and I cannot wait to actually watch him in person one day.
The GOAT. And speaking of which, the GOAT is going to be representing Team USA for the first time in the World Baseball Classic. Cannot wait to see that. Hopefully, we see a Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani matchup because,
That would be insane.
yeah, like two top 5 players in the MLB, top 3 to be honest, on the same team when it comes to the MLB, finally competing against each other. I feel like that's going to be intense, to be honest with you. I think both of them are going to be locked in. Maybe Mike Trout trying to prove a point. Hey, Otani's not better than me yet. Nah.
No, yeah, and if y'all want, go check out our WBC videos. We cover the pool, and we just put out a hats video too, ranking the hats. So make sure y'all check that out. But this was honestly a really, really fun list to come up with. This was a premier position. I'm excited to see how this list honestly changes throughout the year because I had a little trouble 5 through 7, really 5 through 8, because I think any of those guys could be interchangeable right there, but. Center field is a really fun position to go over, and I'm super excited to see these guys play this year.
Yeah, for sure. And to be honest, though, like we kind of gassed him up a lot already. Mike Trout is going to be solidified #1 on this list until they move him to a corner outfield position. That's all I got to say.
Or DH.
But I feel like we're still a decent amount of time removed from that. So let's enjoy greatness while it's still here. And the come up of greatness, Julio Rodriguez at #2 already. I just can't wait to see how his career unfolds.
I honestly can't wait to see Julio and how he progresses. I can't wait to see Michael Harris too. These are two
Mm-hmm.
guys who are in the top 5 for center fielders for a lot of people right now, and both of these guys are 20 or younger. It's just amazing. But if you've been enjoying our ranking series, ranking the top 10 players at each position, make sure you subscribe, and also make sure you turn on notifications to know that when we post more videos, and also when we post our top 10 right fielders next week.
Oh yeah, and if you guys want, leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts if you agree with our placements on this list. If you think anybody else is going to end up at a different position at some point this year, and why Mike Trout is going to be #1 forever. But yeah, really looking forward to right field and pitchers after that. Yeah, we're almost through our top 10 tier list. It's been really fun so far, and I'm just looking forward to these last 2 positions. But until then, peace.
Peace.